Let's be real here. The very first Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 2 generation has come and gone, and for a moment, it felt like something huge. A big new console, a brand new chapter for Nintendo. Expectations were sky high, but the reality, well, let's just say it didn't land the way many of us hoped. This was a partner showcase. And going into it, we knew that, but even with that label, there was still a lot of hope. After all, the Nintendo Switch 2 is out. It's on shelves, it's in homes. And this was the very first official Direct since its launch. That's a big deal. So yeah, people expected to be wowed. Instead, what we got felt thin, safe kind of UNDERWHELMING. Now, to be fair, there were some good moments, some announcements that hit the mark, but overall, this felt like a missed opportunity. Let's talk about why. Starting with the highlights, or what was supposed to be a Direct, kicked off strong with the reveal of Monster Hunter Stories 3. That's not a small title. It's a 2026 game and one that Monster Hunter fans are definitely going to appreciate. It looked sharp, the visuals popped, and it was nice to finally have it officially confirmed for Switch 2. But even then, it didn't feel like a megaton moment. It was good, not great. And with the Switch 2 being brand new, we were waiting for that one game to shake the room. Sadly, never came. Nintendo made it clear in this Direct how game logos worked. A Switch 1 logo meant the game was exclusive to the original Switch, and a Switch 2 logo meant next-gen only. If both logos appeared, the game was cross-gen. And they stuck to that format throughout the show. But even with this structure, the pacing of announcements didn't feel big. It felt like Nintendo was holding back the mid-tier wave. Games we knew were coming from there. We got hit with a wave of announcements. Solid games. Some even exciting, but nothing that screamed next-gen leap. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero was confirmed for both Switch models, a known title, but cool to see. A new Plants vs. Zombies game. Nice but expected. Just Dance 2026. Sure, if that's your thing. FC26 coming to both Switches. Looked better graphically, but again not shocking. These were all safe announcements, and that was kind of the theme. Pac-Man World to Repack stood out for nostalgic fans. It actually got people talking. A fun 3D platformer that brings back childhood memories. Definitely one of the more exciting bits for fans of older titles. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivolus Chronicles was another big moment. Tactical RPG fans will definitely be hyped. A fast turnaround to it drops in September. So while it wasn't a total surprise, it was good to see and Persona 3 Reload. Leaked ahead of time, we saw it coming. But hey, it's official now. October 23rd is the release date. And yes, that's a big one. So far, the Direct wasn't a disaster, but it still didn't feel next-gen. These were games we either expected or knew were coming. The lore drops and delays. One of the better-looking games during the event was Age of Imprisonment, which looks to be the next Hyrule Warriors-style title. The Zelda lore runs deep in this one. Fans of Tears of the Kingdom will appreciate some of the callbacks and visual teasers, but here's the catch. We still don't have a real release date. Winter is all Nintendo gave us. Some think it could be December. Others say January. Either way, it's just another example of Nintendo keeping things vague. The game itself looks amazing. You can sense the scale, the ancient powers, the huge battlefield mechanics. It's one of the more epic-feeling titles. But, again, no release date. When you're launching a new console, you want to create momentum. You want gamers to feel like they need this new device. That's not the feeling this Direct gave off. A few solid surprises, but no showstoppers for notable announcements. Madden 26 and WWE 2K25 are both headed to Switch 2. Great for sports fans. And it's good to see Switch owners finally getting real versions of these games, not the watered-down editions we've seen on Switch 1. Chillin' by the Fire, a camping simulator, Shadow dropped during the event. Cool maybe, but not the kind with a game that gets headlines. Apex Legends on Switch 2. That's coming fast. August 5th. Star Wars Outlaws finally got a proper release date. September 4th, that's big. The game looks clean on Switch 2 and might be a sleeper hit for sci-fi fans. We even got a quick look at Chronos, a sci-fi horror game that gives off heavy Dead Space vibes. It looked dark, moody, and interesting. Definitely one of the few true third-party AAA-style games that felt next-gen. But even Chronos, as cool as it looked, wasn't enough to carry the Direct. Yakuza Shinobi. And the nostalgia factor, more announcements came rolling in. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is launching on Switch 2. November 13th, a great game, highly respected, but, again, a port, not new, just new to Nintendo. There was a sizzle reel filled with smaller titles and arcade-style games. Some of them looked fun. Goodnight Universe, NBA Bounce, Arcade, Hello Kitty DLC and more. One real standout, Shinobi, an old-school side-scroller brought back to life. Fast-paced, action-heavy, dropping August 29th. For fans of retro platformers, this was a genuine treat. And it had a quick turnaround, which is always a win. Borderlands 4 was shown to releasing October 3rd, another decent title, but one we already expected to hit the Switch 2, ending with a whimper. Not a bang now. Here's where things really started to feel off. The show closed with two Square Enix titles. First was Adventures of Elliot, a new HD 2D game. Looks fine. Art style is nice, but it didn't feel new. It didn't feel fresh. And while there's a demo available now, it's a 2026 release. Then came the big closer, Octopath Traveler 0, launching December 4th on Switch 1 and Switch 2, and that was it. Octopath Traveler has fans, no doubt. The original games did well, but for this to be the final moment of the Direct, it didn't hit with the weight it should have. Not when you're kicking off a brand new generation of Nintendo hardware. The missing pieces, where were they? Let's be real, there were a lot of missing pieces in this presentation. No Final Fantasy VII Remake, no Elden Ring, no Metaphor Tasio, no new Bayonetta, no mention of Metroid Prime 4, no surprise Nintendo first-party reveals, and that's what makes this so frustrating. We know some of these games are coming. We know Nintendo has dev kits in the hands of developers, but we didn't even get acknowledgement that these games exist. And that's where things really start to feel off. We just launched a new console, and this Direct didn't make that feel exciting. A theory why this Direct felt so empty. There may be a reason behind all of this, and it goes back to reports about how Nintendo is rolling out their Switch to development kits. According to trusted sources like Tom Henderson, Nintendo had a three-phase plan for game development on Switch 2. The first phase was launch content, mostly first-party Nintendo games and select partners. The second phase, dev kits, were sent out in June, and those partners will only start announcing games around October to November. That means many third-party developers haven't had the time or tools to make true Switch to games yet, or if they have, they're not ready to reveal them. Then there's a third phase, developers who still don't even have access to dev kits at all. That's wild. But it would explain a lot. This Direct wasn't short on games because Nintendo, we didn't want to bring more. It was short on games because most studios literally couldn't deliver yet. And if that's the case, it means the real switch to Wave is still coming, just not yet.